Hi, I'm Andrea. Thanks so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. I'm standing on a yoga mat. If you don't have one, don't worry. A carpeted area is going to be fine. A chair is always a nice thing to have just in case. There's some ways in which you might use it, and I'll let you know. A couple of blocks, if you don't have blocks, thick books. And then a folded blanket of some sort, even a bath towel or a beach towel will work great. Once you have those things, I think it's best if you position yourself facing me. So imagine that you have a yoga mat and that the short edge of your mat is facing me. I'm gonna move around a little bit so that I feel like you can best see me. You don't have to adjust your mat. That's what I'm here for. I'll do it so that you can see me. And we'll start standing in our mountain pose, facing the long edge of your mat. So I'm gonna kind of skew towards you so that I'm looking at you, but you can face the long edge of your mat and then feet hip distance, palms face out. Chin parallel to the ground. A soft gaze at our bright horizon. Take a moment to land. Feet in the earth, head to the sky. With your palms facing away from each other, an uplift of the heart that's physical and more. How fortunate we are to be here on our mat, to have this wonderful practice. A moment of gratitude and breath and inward versus distractedly outward turn. Now see if you can start to let your breath just be through your nose. And the thought is that from now until the end of our practice, you'll aim towards breathing just through your nose. Of course, breathe any way that you can. I just ask that you bring awareness to that breath. Adding a little bit of movement here. Inhale, arms out to the side, a V shape overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Take your hands to the tops of your thighs. Inhale, find the uplift that we talked about and build on it. Spine extends. Exhale, deepen the hinge at your hips, but your head never gets lower than your hips. And then inhale, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, a V shape. Float the arms along your side, return to your mountain. Inhale, arms out and up, a V shape, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands onto your thighs. Inhale, heart extends, lengthening through your spine, and then exhale. Increase the hinge at your hips. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Return to your mountain. One more time like that. Inhale, arms out and up, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands onto your thighs. Inhale, heart extends forward, and then exhale, hinge back in. Inhale, arms out and up, a V shape. And then float your arms alongside your body and pause. And we want to mindfully arrange our props. So the whole practice is about paying attention. If you like to use your chair for a triangle pose, move your chair so that it's halfway down the long side of your mat and you can reach it with one of your hands as we change sides with our triangle pose. If blocks are in your midst and you like to use those for a triangle pose, take your blocks and place them not right in the middle of your mat because we don't want them in our way, but just at that long edge of your mat behind you a bit. You can kind of imagine what that is if you don't happen to have a mat. And then return to your mountain in the center of your mat, facing the long edge, like I'm doing here. Now, arms out to the side, the thumbs to the sky. This is our measurement. Step your feet so that they're pretty much as wide as your ankles under wrists. I often need a little bit more space than that, but as a starting point, it's a good blueprint. And then turn your right leg out so that your right foot faces the short edge of your mat. Cheat your left heel back at about a 45-degree angle. Measure bending the front knee. Just try and make sure that your right knee is not further forward than your ankle. Maybe that means a little bit more space would be a good idea. We'll be dynamic for a few moments here. Inhale, V shape, like our sun salutation, and the front leg straightens. Exhale, bend your front knee and head back into your warrior pose. Inhale, arms overhead, a V shape. And then exhale into your warrior. One more time, fluid movement. Inhale, V shape, front leg straight. Exhale, bend your front knee and then settle into your warrior pose. Know that you could go back to straightening that front leg just like we did together if you need to or want to anytime. And if your arms get tired, you can always lower them or bring them hands to your hips. Now what we'd like to find is that the right thigh bone is moving to the right, not collapsing over to the left. So think of your right hip making its way to your left big toe. I know they're not going to get there, but imagine that. So you're hugging your right hip underneath you. Your back leg feels like it's standing in Tadasana. Thumbs to the sky is important. I don't want shrugging of shoulders into ears. And then we meditate here. And the sensations get a little bit louder. We breathe through the challenge, but you don't overstay your welcome. So if you need to, straighten the front leg and lower the arms, and then climb back in and join us. 3 moments here. Slowly straighten the front leg. Take that V shape overhead, and then lower your arms alongside your body so your arms get a little bit of a break. We talk about this a lot in triangle pose. We don't want side flexion. This is not a side bend. So as we prepare for our triangle, you have your props in place. Some of us are going to use our chair. Some of us are going to reach for our blocks. Thumbs to the sky. Let it be a hinge at the hip. So your left hip shifts back. We're not trying to do this from the waist. And you'll reach out long with that hinge to your hip. Your right thumb to the sky. Find your block, place it on the outside of your right heel. Right hand down, left thumb to the sky. Still no collapse. Notice if you placed your hand and went into a side bend, and take that side bend out so you can think of bottom ribs getting longer and longer. And to counteract any shrug in the shoulders, imagine the inner upper arms spinning away from one another. Press into your right big toe mound. 2 moments here. Mindful prop movement, look down and put a little bend in your right knee. Scoot that block off to the side. You could even return to warrior 2. Let's do that. And then straighten your front leg and turn all of your toes to face the long edge of your mat. Setting up our second side. Turn your left leg out. Let that happen at the hip. The left foot faces towards the short edge of your mat. 45 degrees, you slide that right heel back. Thumbs to the sky. Bend your front knee. And I think our spacing is probably okay from last time, but just make sure that you've got a vertical line from your knee to your ankle, and then we'll get dynamic. Straighten the front leg, V shape overhead is our inhale. Bend your front knee into warrior 2. Inhale, V shape, straightening that front leg. Exhale, bending our front knee. Inhale, V shape, straight front leg. Bend your front knee, and this is where we let it cook a little bit, not too much. So you can think of it as like not boiling over. Left hip hugging underneath you. Left hip is interested, like it's magnetic, towards that right big toe. Thumbs to the sky, no shrugging of shoulders and the ears. We're clear on, if we need it, lowering the arms, maybe straightening the front leg and hopping back in when we can. And then let your breath bring calm to a situation that is starting to brew a little bit. Just like you can imagine when you're a warrior off your mat, some situations that get challenging, and we stay steady. 2 moments here. Slowly, straighten your front leg, lower your arms so that they get a little bit of a break. Be sure that your chair is in place or your block if that's what you're using. And then V shape overhead, we grow tall. We're not doing side flexion, we're finding the hinge at our hip. Thumbs to the sky, reach as far as you can with that left hand. Find your block on the outside of your left foot or your hand onto the base of your chair. Right thumb to the sky. We keep the hinge at the hip. You may want to double check that as we place our hand on our prop. The bottom ribs are long and they're rotating to the sky. Inner upper arms spin away from one another and we breathe here. Three moments of meditation in our triangle pose. Mindful movement on the way out. Take a look down, bend your front knee. Move the prop out of your way. Warrior two, bending that front knee once again, and then just slowly straighten the leg. All toes face the long edge of your mat, and then heel toe until you're hip distance, like our mountain pose. Step to the front edge of your mat, but as you do, take your props with you. So many of us will take those blocks or thick books, and a number of us are going to want to move our chair back to the front edge of our mat so that you can use your hands on the chair base, and I'll show it both ways. Then situate yourself so your blocks are off to the side, they're not underfoot. Super important. Find your mountain facing that short edge of your mat. Inhale, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs. Inhale, heart extends, either hands onto the seat of your chair or hands onto your blocks. Step your left foot back and we're in a lunge. Now our lunge steps into the right heel and it feels like you're tractioning that right heel back to your left toes even though they're not moving anywhere. And we find length through our spine. We make sure that our head never goes lower than our hips. Stay for just a moment here. Now step your left foot hip distance from your right, hands to your thighs. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms out to the side, a V shape, and then stand in the majesty of your mountain. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands onto your thighs. Inhale your heart forward, hands on the seat of your chair or hands onto your blocks. This time step your right foot back and here we are in a lunge. Now it's like you're tractioning your left heel back towards your right toes. Your spine is long, the low belly is lifting. Nobody's head is lower than their hips. 2 moments. And then step right foot, hip distance from left foot. Hands to your thighs, inhale. Exhale, hinge at your hips, and then inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky. Pause in your mountain. All of it is a meditation, really. This just happens to be movement meditation. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to your thighs. Inhale, heart extends, hands to the seat of your chair or onto your blocks. Step your left foot back. Lunge once again. This time, perhaps, play with coming upright. Now, I find it helpful to bend my back knee, thumbs to the sky, a V shape. And then I might work that back leg straight a little bit, but that stamping of the right heel and tractioning it back is going to give you a plumb line, a midline for balance. Maybe gazing towards the ground or towards the horizon helps with balance. Mindful, hands back to your blocks or the seat of your chair, left foot hip distance from right, hands to thighs, inhale. And then exhale, hinge at your hips, inhale, arms out and up, V shape. Stand in your mountain, second side. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to your thighs. Inhale your heart forward, hands to the seat of your chair or onto your blocks. Step your right foot back. We return to a lunge position that we did earlier and we add on to it. So you're going to stand into your left heel, maybe a little bend in the back knee, thumbs to the sky, we come upright. You can do a V shape overhead if that works for you. And when I say works for you, it means that you're not dragging your shoulders into your ears. Sometimes this feels a little bit better for balance. Think of tractioning your left heel back, letting your right hip draw forward. 2 more moments here. And then hands to your blocks or to the seat of your chair. Step your right foot hip distance from your left. Hands to your thighs. Inhale. Exhale, hinge at your hips, and then inhale, arms out and up, reaching to the sky. Stand into your mountain. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands onto your thighs. Inhale your heart forward. This is mindful movement again. Hands to your chair or to your blocks, but this time we come to the floor. So one knee and then the other knee. You can move your chair out of the way. You can also move your blocks out of the way at this point and invite your folded blanket for underneath your knees. Some padding is often really nice. We mindfully line up shoulders over the wrists. I like to keep my toes curled under. Gives me a little bit of extra support. And then lift your low belly away from the ground. Now, be sure that it is shoulders over wrist, because if they're too far back, it's going to be too much at the wrist, and if they're too far forward, we're going to collapse into our shoulders. So there is kind of a finesse. Step your right foot back and pause. Now imagine that it's 2019 and we're still shaking each other's hands. Maybe we will again sometime. Left thumb to the sky, reach out in front of you. And you can kind of think of your arm and your ear aligning, but the thumb is to the sky so we're not pinching our shoulder into our ear. You got to oomph into that right arm. Low belly lifts. Maybe right leg lifts. If that doesn't feel quite right, keep your right toes on the ground. A little bit of balance here. Option to bend your right knee and your left elbow together and reach them apart. You don't have to do this part unless it works for you. Tap the two together. This would be your exhale. Inhale, reach the two apart one more time. Exhale and inhale. And then left hand down, right knee down. Come kneeling and give your wrists a twirl, a release. Second side, shoulders over wrists. We nerd out a little bit on making sure that we really have that alignment. And then left foot steps back, toes stay on the ground for now. Low belly is lifting. It's 2019, we reach our right arm forward, thumb to the sky, like we're shaking somebody's hand, and now you gotta push into that left hand. So no collapse anywhere. Maybe left leg lifts. If that doesn't feel right to you, you're the expert, I'm just a guide, and you keep that foot down. Mostly keep breathing. 2 more moments. Option to bring left knee and right elbow underneath you as you exhale, and then inhale the two apart. Exhale. And inhale, maybe one more time. Exhale. And whoop, inhale. If you wobble and fall, so do I, right? Bring it, right hand down, left knee down. Come kneeling and we'll twirl the wrists. It's a good thing that my ego left the building several years ago, you know? It is one of the better things of being a little bit further along on the journey of life. Now we'll come seated, and I think using the folded blanket and giving it an extra fold is particularly nice. You could also sit on a cushion or pillow. And then once we sit, let's put right shin in front of left shin and try to cross it so that the ankles are underneath the knees. And then find your seat. Let your gaze at the bright horizon feel like a meditation, even before we do an official seated meditation. Now, right thumb to the sky. Pat yourself on the back. Left arm out to the side, thumb faces down, and then bring the back of your left hand to the small of your back. There's a little meditation happening here because we're doing two different things on the two sides of our body. It's brain food, it's good stuff. It also means we have to kind of pay attention. Stay for a couple moments here. Now, speaking of brain food, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. Now take your arms in front of you with your thumbs to the sky like you're going to give someone a hug. And then take your right elbow on top of your left elbow and give yourself a hug. Self-love, right? If we're going to extend love anywhere else, we got to find it for ourselves. Perhaps you take your fingers to the sky, and it's called eagle pose. The other thing you could do is just take right elbow onto the top of your left hand. So something like this, you can stick with hugging yourself. You can do this arm positioning, or you can cross at the elbows and take your fingers to the sky and then stay with this bit of brain food. Two more moments. Arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. Left arm to the sky, thumb to the sky, and you pat yourself on the back. Right thumb faces down, swoop the arm behind your back and place the back of your right hand into the small of your back and pause. So if you really want to nerd out, we have what's called flexion happening on the left shoulder and extension in the right shoulder. Couple moments here. Move slowly, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, and then you reach as if you're going to hug someone. Cross, left elbow on top of right elbow, and give yourself a hug. You have options here. Left elbow onto the right fingers, or left elbow on top, and you curly cue. This is called eagle pose, the arms, so your eagle feathers to the sky. And then stay with it. We've had all this wonderful mindful brain food in our arms. Meanwhile, our hips are opening. Last couple moments here. Unwind your arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. Bring your hands onto your stoop, onto your folded blanket or your pillow. Lean back enough that you can let your legs waggle free, just for a moment. And then recross with your left shin in front. Think about it being a little bit more like ankles and knees than just a cross at the ankles. Palms up or down. We navigate into a seated meditation. We did a lot of movement. There's movement meditation, and then there's this still seated meditation. We're going to take 2 minutes here. You're going to be great. As we're here, maybe you tell yourself, let on the inhale, go on the exhale. Or it could be thank on the inhale, you on the exhale as you meditate on something you're grateful for. 2 minutes starting now. 1 minute, come back to your intention. Let go. Or maybe thank you. And slowly begin to extend your legs out in front of you. I think hip distance feels pretty good to most of us. Curl your toes back, frame on either side of your hips, or maybe wander a little bit forward, but hinge at your hips. Just a little hamstring stretch, a little fold down the middle here, not a rounding fold. We're still finding the majesty of our mountain here. Just 2 moments. Even this is a moment of meditation. Slowly inhale, come up. Bend your knees and put your feet on the ground so that it's easy to maneuver off of your blanket or your folded towel or whatever you're using, and then lie down onto your back. And when you lie down, step your feet as wide as your mat. Let your knees fall in on each other. Tuck one shoulder blade and then the other underneath you. Maybe pick up your hips just an inch. Make more space there. Lower your hips and either stay here for your final Shavasana meditation or extend one leg and then the other. Your feet flop open. This is the ultimate meditation navigation. Drop into your rest and digest. Shavasana, final meditation. You're welcome to stay here in your final meditation as long as you'd like. If you're ready, bend your knees. Place your feet on your mat and roll carefully to either side. Bring yourself up to a final comfortable seat. Palms up or down. We navigate our meditation out into our lives so that we can be fully present in every conversation, in every situation. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I'm Andrea, and I look forward to us doing it again together soon.